the problems of releasing people that come across the border illegally rapidly into our country without really knowing who they are. It's just a reality. I mean, our laws prevent us from holding people more than 20 days, and because we can't get the information, we're probably releasing them even sooner than that in many cases, correct?
That's absolutely correct. With respect to family units, since March of this year, United States Border Patrol has been releasing family units directly. So in some cases, they're being released in under 48 hours into the interior United States.
Because it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to try and find the facilities to hold them for 20 days with this overwhelming flow. So instead of Border Patrol turning them over to ICE, a more thorough vetting process, and then ICE releasing them, Border Patrol is doing it directly.
That's correct.
I mean, that represents a real danger to not only potentially our country, but to those individuals.
Especially with the amount of fake families that we are uncovering every single day.
I mean, it is true that we really don't have time to determine, is that the father or is that the human trafficker? Is that his daughter or is that his trafficking victim?
It's a challenge.
So our broken laws are creating risks for these migrants. And so we do focus on that time in custody, and again, nobody would say these are really pleasant surroundings. This is exactly where you'd want to spend the night. Nobody would want to spend the night in those conditions. But the reason we hold people in custody is we do need to take some kind of precaution in terms of where they're released. But even with the precautions we're trying to take, it's overwhelming the system, and people are put in danger, correct?
Not only they put in danger, sir, but again, that is one of the largest pull factors, and it's not going to stop. We've been talking a lot of stuff. Should we improve on our care and quality of that? Absolutely. But we're still not addressing that. That's addressing the symptoms. That's not addressing the actual disease. And we need to stem the flow. And as long as our laws are where they are, you're going to grab a kid. That is your passport in the United States. They know that in the Northern Triangle countries, and they're exploiting that every single day.
So let's talk about, in my mind, there's really three categories of people coming to this country illegally and being apprehended, or port of entry claiming asylum. You have single adult males, which used to be the problem, the vast majority. Then you have people coming as a family unit, generally one adult, one child, and then you have unaccompanied children. Let's start with the unaccompanied children. My information shows me of the 780,000 people that have come in illegally at the ports of entry, about 67,000 are unaccompanied children this year.
That's correct. The number's a little bit higher.
In the past, the composition of those unaccompanied children would be 70% are male, 70% are 15 or older. Is that composition holding largely true of the unaccompanied children?
Yes, and the majority of them are of between 14 and 17.
So again, if they're more than 15, if they're male, certainly that would be the profile of an individual that might already be a member of a gang from Central America, correct?
That's correct.
Or if you come to this country, you can't speak the language, you probably gravitate toward those areas, those pockets of other immigrants that speak your language that would be gravitating toward gang activity, correct?
Your vulnerability to be recruited by a gang is exponentially higher under those circumstances.
I am reading reports of the issues that schools are having to cope with. It's not just bilingual education. Now it's not only bilingual, but different dialects from some of the mountain regions of Guatemala. Is that a problem?
Yes.
In terms of the family units, the children coming in, and again, you talked about 300,000 children. So you've got 67,000 as unaccompanied children. Then you've got over 200,000 as part of a family unit. Those would be children more of tender age, right? Which would be defined as, what, 12 and under or 14 or under?
It's changing on a regular basis, but we do find them to be a little bit younger, but I'll have to follow up on the stats.
I asked a question earlier about DNA testing. The few pilots or the few tests we've had show what percentage of people coming in that we determine are fraudulent family. Do you have any sense for that right now?
Don't have the overall percentage, but we do have the numbers. Right now, Border Patrol 5,800 and HSI, part of ICE, they've identified hundreds since their pilot program of pushing agents forward.